When running, the farther you swing your leg out in front of your upper body while the knee is completely unbent at touchdown, coupled with the farther back you strike the ground on your heel, results in a prolonged production of collisional impact that gets converted into a compressive force that directly puts a very heavy load on the knee joint. This high compressive load, which is most accompanied with this specific landing configuration during running, is most consistently associated with knee injury. Furthermore, additional research has found a cofactor that may further increase impact on the knee joint when landing with a heel strike in this way when running, according to a 2014 study in the Journal of Science and Medicine in Sport, which is linked down below this video in the description box, discovered that the engaging shock-absorbing activity of the calf musculature was overly restricted when the leg was overextended with an unbent knee while the foot landed squarely on the heel at touchdown when running. In consequence, this projected more impact loads on the knee joint because the knee was now required to absorb the resultant impact that the calf muscles could no longer absorb. Generally speaking, the calf muscles have multiple roles in running. One is that they help absorb impact, but with this specific landing configuration, the calf muscles may be prevented from being used more effectively as shock absorbers, and so therefore the knee may now have to bear the expense of absorbing greater than normal levels of impact because, again, the calves are more offline as shock absorbers, and therefore higher levels of impact makes its way to the knee joint. This is why there's a long line of accumulating evidence suggesting that in heel strike running, the knee seems to be highly sensitive to injury as compared with forefoot strike running, of which the same study found that impact absorption in the calf muscles was enhanced in forefoot running than in heel strike running, whereby the researchers found that forefoot strike running led to a 93% increase in the impact dampening capacity in the calves at touchdown, which in turn could lead to even more reductions in impact loads on the knee. Why the shock absorbing properties of the calf muscles were enhanced at touchdown in forefoot strike running was because at touchdown in forefoot running, the calf muscles aren't locked out like a wooden block, which makes it easier for impact forces to go straight up into the knee like it so often is at touchdown in a heel strike landing during running. Rather, the calf muscles at touchdown in a forefoot strike landing when running are less stretched and are more compliant, enabling the calves to act more as a spring and recoil because the calf muscles are positioned much closer to over top of the ankle and more close to under the knee at touchdown. Not only that, when the heel drops down to the ground shortly after the forefoot has struck the ground, the heel drops down to the ground while it's underneath the center of mass, of which the heel dropping motion provides a hinge point that allows the calf muscles or the spring to move up and down in a direction that is closer to the center of mass, thereby creating a mass on a spring effect. So these are some of the prime factors behind why the calf muscles are much more responsive as shock absorbers and the knee gets more safeguarded in forefoot strike running. Another big part of why there's less stress on the knees in forefoot running is that forefoot running results in a contact with the ground that is so brief that certain impact force variables aren't fully produced. This is often correlated to less stress on the knees, specifically because in a forefoot strike landing, there's actually an automatic removal of the burst and high collisional impact because landing forefoot first when running helps reduce the distance between initial foot strike position and the upper body, which is the center of mass. This allows the body to spend less time braking with the ground in forefoot running. In fact, the brake force in forefoot running is small enough to avoid damaging compressive loads on the knee. So I just thought it would be very helpful to outline the different ways forefoot strike running may do a better job at reducing the amount of stressors responsible for knee pain and knee injury as compared with heel strike running. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to hit the thumbs up button as well as the subscribe button if you haven't already. where you'll stay more informed on forefoot strike running versus heel strike running, as well as more informed on the benefits of barefoot and minimalist running. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Have fun out there on the roads and trails. Bye for now.